There comes a moment in every person's life when the mirror reflects a version of themselves they no longer respect. Not because they're weak, but because they've stayed stuck in a version of themselves built by survival, fear, approval, and routine. The truth is this: if you want to become someone new, you must be willing to destroy who you were. Completely. No negotiations. Your habits, your comfort zones, your excuses, your people, even the way you talk to yourself. That version of you, the one that avoided risk, made peace with mediocrity, settled for good enough, that version must go. Rebuilding yourself starts with breaking yourself down. Not out of self-hate, but self-respect. You don't level up by tweaking the old framework. You burn it. You cut the cord to the person who made excuses, tolerated toxic people, and delayed growth for the sake of comfort. Rebuilding is messy. It's lonely, but it's necessary, because the only way to rise is to first fall, intentionally. This is your reset. This audiobook isn't for entertainment. It's a guide for those who are ready to go to war with their lesser self and win. Welcome to the process of becoming who you were always meant to be. No crowd, no cheers, no handouts. Just you and the fire that's about to forge your future. Chapter 1: Burn the bridges to your past. To truly rebuild yourself, you must first make an unbreakable decision. A decision that your past will no longer define your future. That means no turning back. No just-in-case safety nets. No holding on to comfort for nostalgia's sake. Burning the bridge means cutting ties with the old you that made excuses, the people who drained your energy, the habits that numbed your potential, the beliefs that kept you small. Because here's the truth: you cannot become your future self while dragging your past with you. You must commit to becoming someone else so deeply that the old version of you wouldn't recognize who you're becoming. Yes, it's painful. Yes, it's scary. But growth demands sacrifice. Not comfort. Not convenience. Sacrifice. When you leave the door open to your past, it will always whisper, "Come back." It was easier here. That's why you must burn that door down and watch the flames until you feel nothing but forward. You don't owe explanations to anyone. This journey is between you and the future you're building. Let people say you changed. That's the point. The moment you cut the rope is the moment you rise. Chapter 2: The Power of Walking Alone. If you're serious about rebuilding yourself, there's one truth you must embrace early. You will walk alone. And that's not a punishment, it's preparation. When you choose to grow, most people won't understand you anymore. They'll say you've changed. They'll question your silence. They'll fall away, not because you pushed them, but because they were never meant to go where you're going. Here's what you need to know. Solitude is not loneliness. It's space. Space to think. Space to build. Space to rise. When you're always surrounded, you absorb noise. You chase validation. You react. But when you walk alone, you discover who you really are without distraction. In silence, the mind sharpens. In solitude, your standards rise. In isolation, the future is born. Because when no one's clapping, when no one's watching, when no one's texting, you got this. And you still show up for yourself. That's when you become unstoppable. You don't need crowds. You don't need permission. You need time. You need discipline. You need you. People may say, "You've disappeared." Let them. Growth happens in the shadows, not the spotlight. Walk alone long enough, and one day, the world will wonder where you came from. Chapter 3: Breaking Free from Weakness and Comfort. Comfort is a slow killer. It doesn't break you all at once. It dulls your edge little by little. It whispers, "You've done enough." It feeds you excuses like "take a break," or "you're only human." But behind every comfort-based decision is one ugly truth. You're choosing weakness over growth. Let's get something straight. Weakness isn't just physical. It's giving in when you promised yourself you wouldn't. It's staying stuck because it's easier than change. It's telling yourself someday when you know you mean never. And comfort is the cage that keeps you average. It rewards you with temporary pleasure at the cost of long-term power. The people who change their lives don't wait to feel ready. They choose discomfort on purpose. They train their mind to lean into hard things because they know that every rep, every early morning, every lonely grind is building a version of them that comfort could never create. You will never grow in environments that require nothing from you. To break free, you must make a decision. To stop coddling yourself. To stop justifying your own limits. To start choosing what's hard. Because what's hard is where the power is. Discipline. Cold showers. Representatives' isolation. Saying no, silence. These are the tools. Pain is the teacher. And freedom is the reward. So break the habit of easing off. Push when it's uncomfortable. Suffer a little, so you don't suffer forever. Weakness is a choice. So is greatness. Chapter 4. Erasing the old mindset and programming a new one. Your mindset is not your personality. It's your programming. And if you want to rebuild yourself, you don't just need new habits. You need a new operating system. The one you've been running on, it was built by your past, shaped by pain, doubt, criticism, and the limitations of others. It told you things like, you're not good enough. This is just who you are. Don't aim too high. Stay safe. Stay small. But here's the truth. You're not stuck. You're just scripted. And any script can be rewritten if you're willing to challenge everything you've believed about yourself. That means unlearning before you relearn. It means questioning your truths. It means destroying the mental comfort zones that have shaped your decisions for years. Here's how you begin. Start catching the self-talk that holds you back. Interrupt the loops that say, I can't. Feed your brain new inputs, new books, new voices, new environments. Speak aloud who you're becoming, even if you don't fully believe it yet. Your mind is plastic, not fixed. Every day, your brain is rewiring based on what you focus on, what you say, and what you do. Reprogramming doesn't happen once. It happens daily. You don't rise by accident. You rise by design. So stop letting your old identity drive the car and put the new you in the driver's seat. It's time to reboot. Chapter 5. Cutting off negative influences forever. You cannot rise while you're still connected to what's pulling you down. If you are serious about rebuilding yourself, you must get brutally honest about this. Not everyone gets to come with you. Some people aren't evil, they're just heavy. They carry gossip, laziness, fear, doubt. And without knowing it, you start carrying it too. Every conversation is shaping your mind. Every environment is feeding your energy or draining it. And every influence is either reinforcing your new path or chaining you to your old one. Here's the rule. If it costs you your peace, clarity, or growth, cut it off. That means toxic friendships, passive-aggressive family, people who belittle your progress, circles that mock discipline and chase drama, anyone who makes you question your worth instead of building your future. It's not personal, it's spiritual. It's not anger, it's alignment. This chapter of your life demands ruthless boundaries because influence is contagious. You don't rise above your circle. You become your circle. So become unavailable to negativity. Be busy growing. Be busy building. Be busy healing. Let them say you're distant. Let them say you've changed. Good. You're supposed to. And the more you distance yourself from the wrong people, the closer you get to the right version of you. Remember, you're not being harsh. You're being loyal to your future. Chapter 6. Building an unbreakable routine for growth. Growth is not built on intensity. It's built on consistency. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they can't stay consistent long enough to see results. Here's the hard truth. If your discipline relies on motivation, you're already losing. What separates those who transform from those who don't? an unbreakable routine. A set of habits so deeply wired in, they happen whether you feel like it or not. Growth requires structure. Without structure, you wake up every day hoping for progress. With structure, you guarantee it. Here's what an unbreakable routine does. Eliminates mental negotiation. Should I do this today? Anchors your mind when life gets chaotic. Builds momentum without relying on willpower. Turns habits into identity. You don't need 10 hours a day. You need non-negotiables. A few daily disciplines you protect with your life. Examples? Wake up at the same time, no matter what. Workout, even if it's 15 minutes. Journal, even just 3 lines. Read, reflect, reset, repeat. The power isn't in what you do once. The power is in what you do every single day, especially when it's boring, inconvenient, or difficult. Remember this. Repetition rewires reality. The more you do it, the less resistance your brain gives you. So stop waiting for motivation. Build systems, build rituals, and keep showing up until showing up is just who you are. Chapter 7, Mastering Emotional Control and Self-Discipline. You will never master your life until you master your emotions. Most people are slaves to their feelings. They only act when they feel like it. They only work when they're inspired. They only show up when it's easy. But your emotions are not your leader. They are data, not direction. Discipline begins the moment you stop letting emotions decide your actions. You don't need to be emotionless. You need to be emotionally trained. Here's how you do it. When you feel overwhelmed, pause, don't react. When you feel lazy, act anyway. When you feel offended, observe instead of exploding. When you feel unmotivated, move with purpose regardless. Self-control isn't a natural gift. It's a practice skill. Every time you override a weak impulse, you strengthen the muscle of discipline. And that muscle? That's the difference between average and elite, between chaos and clarity, between staying stuck and rising above it all. You will still feel anger, fear, and doubt. That doesn't make you weak. What matters is what you do next. Discipline says, I hear you, emotion, but we're doing it anyway. That's power. That's growth. That's freedom. Remember this. When your emotions scream no, and your discipline whispers yes, the version of you you're trying to become is watching which one you obey. Chapter 8. Reinventing your identity from the ground up. You are not born with an identity. You build one. Most people live their entire lives stuck in a version of themselves they never chose. They inherit beliefs. They adopt labels. They play roles just to fit in. But here's the truth. Identity is a decision, not a destiny. If you want to rebuild yourself, you must stop asking, who am I? And start asking, who do I want to become? Then you work backwards. You build that identity, brick by brick, through behavior. Identity is built by what you tolerate, what you say no to, what you commit to when no one's watching, what you do repeatedly, especially under pressure. If you want to be seen as disciplined, act disciplined, long before it feels natural. If you want to be respected, live in a way that earns it, even when no one gives it to you yet. If you want to be unstoppable, become someone who refuses to quit, especially when you're tired, alone, or doubting yourself. You don't fake a new identity. You prove it to yourself over and over again until it becomes who you are. You aren't your past. You aren't your pain. You aren't what they said you'd be. You are what you choose. And you can choose differently, today, right now. Don't just rebuild your habits. Rebuild you from the ground up. Chapter 9, The Art of Self-Reliance. Here's one of the hardest but most freeing truths you'll ever learn. No one is coming to save you. Not your friends. Not your family. Not your boss. Not the system. Not a perfect moment. No one. And once you stop waiting to be rescued, you reclaim your power. Self-reliance doesn't mean isolation. It means ownership. It means you stop outsourcing your strength to circumstances and start realizing that everything you need is already within you. No more blaming. No more waiting. No more depending on someone else to give you what you haven't yet given yourself. Discipline, peace, direction, courage, belief. This world rewards those who can lead themselves, in silence, in pressure, in pain. And to lead yourself, you must become the type of person who says, if it has to be done, I'll do it. If I fail, I'll fix it. If I'm alone, I'll still move forward. When you stop relying on others to motivate you, validate you, or even understand you, you become unstoppable. You build self-reliance by showing up when no one's watching, solving problems without complaint, learning what you don't know instead of blaming what you weren't taught, becoming your own standard. Self-reliance isn't cold, it's clean. It's clarity, it's freedom, because when no one can give it to you, and you build it anyway, you own it, and no one can ever take it away. Chapter 10, Turning Pain into Power. Everyone is pain, but not everyone turns it into power. Most people run from it. They numb it with distractions. They bury it under excuses. But here's the truth. Pain is not your enemy, it's your fuel. Pain shows you where the work is. It points to what must change. It breaks what needs to be rebuilt. The people you admire, the ones who seem unshakable, they didn't avoid pain. They learned how to use it. They turned rejection into self-respect, loss into clarity, rock bottom into a launch pad, loneliness into self-mastery, betrayal into boundaries, failure into resilience. Pain refines you. It strips away the lies, the distractions, the false identities, until only truth remains. And truth is where strength begins. The question is not, why did this happen to me? It's, what is this pain trying to teach me? You can choose to stay a victim, or you can decide, this pain will not end me. It will shape me. This moment will not break me. It will build me. Every scar is a reminder. You didn't just survive. You evolved. You were forged, not damaged. And the pain you carry, that's the pressure that creates power, if you let it. Chapter 11, Developing a Relentless Work Ethic. Talent is a gift, but work ethic is a choice. Every single day. In a world obsessed with shortcuts, hacks, and life balance, there's still one timeless truth. The people who win outwork everyone else. They don't complain about being tired. They don't wait to be motivated. They don't seek applause. They put their head down and grind. You don't need to be the smartest. You don't need to be the most gifted. You just need to be the one who doesn't stop when it's boring, hard, or thankless. Relentless work ethic means showing up early, staying late, working when it's uncomfortable, doing it better than yesterday, training when no one's watching, executing even when no one's clapping. It means you don't just want success, you're willing to suffer for it. Because greatness is not a vibe, it's a system. It's built on days when you're tired, discouraged, and tempted to quit, but still show up and put in the work. This kind of work ethic creates confidence. Why? Because deep down you know, no one outworks me, and that means no one can outlast me. Forget motivation. Forget hype. Get obsessed with mastery. Let your obsession with growth silence your excuses. And if you ever wonder what separates the top 1%, it's not luck. It's not timing. It's discipline repeated endlessly. Chapter 12, The Mindset of Those Who Never Quit. Everyone starts, but only a few finish. Why? Because most people are addicted to the spark, but allergic to the grind. They love beginnings. The hype, the talk, the feeling of this time it's different. But the moment it gets boring, painful, repetitive, or slow, they quit. Winners don't, because winners aren't emotionally attached to the feeling. They're committed to the mission. The people who never quit don't have magic. They have standards. They've burned the option to back down. They've buried Plan B. They don't need hype, they run on hunger. Here's the mindset. This will take time. I'm still doing it. This might suck today. I'm still doing it. I might not see results for months. I'm still doing it. No one's cheering. No one's helping. I'm still doing it. Why? Because their reason is bigger than their resistance. They don't seek comfort. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They understand this one truth. If I stop now, I start over later. The mindset of those who never quit is simple. I finish what I start. Whether it takes weeks or years, they don't stop. They adapt, endure, conquer. That's how legacies are built. Not in hype, but in hard silence. Not by talent, but by refusal to give up. Chapter 13, The Final Transformation, Becoming the New You. This is the moment everything flips. You've walked alone. You've burned the old you. You've suffered, sacrificed, and shown up when it would have been easier to quit. And now, you become the version of yourself you used to only imagine. But hear this clearly. Transformation isn't a glow-up. It's a war. And this is the final battle, the death of the former self. It's not about changing how you look. It's about changing how you operate, how you walk into rooms, how you think under pressure, how you no longer fold, shrink, or apologize for wanting more. The final transformation means you no longer identify as trying. You've become. You no longer ask for permission. You own your lane. You no longer chase, you build. You no longer fake confidence. You earn it daily. The new you is not a fantasy. It's a forged identity built from every early morning, every disciplined choice, every silent tear, every win no one saw. It's a version of you that speaks less and executes more. That doesn't need validation, because you already validated yourself through consistency and pain. You don't owe the world explanations. Your life will speak for itself. This final chapter isn't about celebration. It's about arrival. Not perfect, but proven. Not finished, but unstoppable. Welcome to the other side. You are no longer becoming. You are. Chapter 14, The Power of Silence and Moving in the Shadows. The higher you climb, the quieter you should become. Because power doesn't speak, it moves. Most people want to be seen. They overshare their goals. They broadcast every win. They talk more than they build. But the ones who are actually doing the work, they're too busy building to be loud about it. Silence is a strategy. When you move in silence, you protect your energy. You dodge distraction. You avoid fake support. You keep pressure low and execution high. Not everyone needs to know your plans. Not everyone deserves access to your process. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing. Let your work speak. Let your results echo. Let your transformation confuse the crowd. Not your words explain it. You don't need to announce what you're becoming. You need to become it. And when it's time, when the world finally sees what you built in silence, it won't be noise. It'll be undeniable. Remember, the loudest in the room is rarely the most dangerous. Stay quiet. Stay calculating. Stay lethal. Because when you learn to move like a shadow, you become impossible to stop and even harder to predict. Chapter 15, Protecting Your Energy and Staying Focused. Energy is your most valuable currency. Not time, not money, energy. Because without energy, you can't build. Without energy, you can't think clearly. Without energy, you can't stay disciplined, calm, or focused. And the deeper you get into your transformation, the more you'll realize this one truth. Not everything deserves your attention, and not everyone deserves your access. There are two types of people: those who protect their peace like it's sacred, and those who give it away like it's free. You must become ruthless with your energy. That means stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. Stop engaging in battles that don't build your future. Stop letting notifications, gossip, and other people's chaos dictate your focus. Your focus is fuel. And anything that drains it, even slightly, is slowing you down more than you know. Every time you let in drama, distractions, or doubt, you rob your future self of clarity and results. Protect your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. Protect it by setting boundaries. Protect it by saying no. Protect it by walking away quickly and without guilt. And focus? Focus is not a personality trait. It's a discipline. You build it by deciding what matters, and then cutting everything else. You don't need more hours. You need fewer leaks. You need stronger filters. You need laser focus. Protect your peace. Guard your grind. Honor your mind. That's how you last. That's how you win. Chapter 16. The discipline to stay hungry for growth. The most dangerous thing that can happen to a person is not failure. It's comfort after a little bit of success. Because here's what most people do. They improve. They win a little. They start hearing applause. And then they slow down. They stop doing the things that built them. They get soft, lazy, distracted. They confuse arrival with achievement. But the ones who stay dangerous, the ones who keep evolving while others fade, they stay hungry. They remind themselves daily, I'm not finished. There's another level. Comfort is the trap. Growth is the mission. Discipline doesn't end when you improve. It begins there. Because staying hungry is what keeps your edge sharp. Think about the greats, athletes, artists, entrepreneurs, warriors. They don't live off yesterday's wins. They wake up every day with something to prove to themselves. That takes discipline. Discipline to train when you're already good. Discipline to learn when you already know more than most. Discipline to stay focused when success starts calling you to relax. The hunger must become internal, not driven by validation or lack, but by vision. Growth isn't a phase. It's a lifestyle. So ask yourself, are you coasting? Are you celebrating too early? Or are you still waking up like the underdog? Even after you've tasted victory, the disciplines stay hungry, and the hungry keep rising forever. Conclusion, the rebirth of the new you. You made it, but not just to the end of this audiobook, to the beginning of your new life. You've burned the bridges. You've walked alone. You've silenced the noise. You've faced the pain. And you didn't just survive. You rebuilt, brick by brick, habit by habit, day by day. You let go of what was holding you back. The people, the patterns, the past. You stopped making excuses. You started making moves. And now, you are no longer a product of your environment. You are a product of your decisions. You are no longer just reacting to life. You are designing it. You are no longer the person waiting to be saved. You saved yourself. But let this final truth sink in. This version of you isn't the final form. It's the foundation. You're not done. You're just getting started. The real you, the one you've been building in silence, is here to stay. Stronger, quieter, sharper, focused, built different. And now you move differently. No need to prove. No need to impress. No need to explain. You don't owe the world words. You owe yourself results. This is your rebirth. This is your reset. This is where the old story ends and the new legacy begins. So stand up, square your shoulders, and walk like the version of you that refused to die in the fire. Because that version was born in it. Welcome to the next chapter. You are no longer becoming. You are rebuilt.